This episode of Says Who is brought to you by you. Yeah, you, right there. You, the one. I am in your ears saying it.
dancing.
You. Brought to you by you through your support. I forgot where I was. Through your support of our Patreon at patreon.com/sayswho, our Patreon, where pretty much every Sunday you get this all over again, but just as a half hour and somehow more informal. Because me and Maureen do a little thing we call the Town Watch. That's for people that give it the $5 or $10 a month level. That $10 a month level also gets you a sticker in the mail because you become a member of a great club known as the Says Who Sticker Club. That's all for you at patreon.com/sayswho.
That's all for you. And this year, obviously, we're going to start working on video level, right, Dan?
Not right now.
Let's add more things to what Dan's doing. Let's pile on.
Please, let's not.
Well, Dan, do you know about books? Because they happen.
I've heard of them. I'm reading one.
And also, just not about my books today. My friend Kelly Link has a book out called The Book of Love. It's going to be an amazing award-winning novel. It is giant. It is the size of a cinder block, so you're going to get lots of value for money. But I have read this book in various drafts as it has been developed. I look forward to it winning all the literary awards. It is incredible. So let's just talk about The Book of Love today instead of my book.
Also, it's Valentine's Day, so that's very thematically appropriate.
I mean, also, don't think it's not the romance you may think it is. It is a surreal.
Nope,
it's a surreal fantasy. It's unlike anything you've ever It's about basically death coming to a town and kids turning into ether and dragons and but also just a small town story.
Wow.
It is incredible. It's nuts. It's unlike any book you'll ever read. Kelly Link is a multi-hyphenate award-winning MacArthur Genius Grant writer, and this is her first novel. So.
Wow. Well. You can pick that up anywhere, but you can also pick that up at kickbezosintheballs.org, which is our own little bookshop. And you know what? Maureen isn't going to tell you, but I will. She also writes books. They're all very good.
I've done it.
And they're available for you to purchase anywhere books are sold.
They'll just let you have them.
I mean, no, that's at a library they will, though.
Yeah, anywhere will let you have them. Well, you have to give them something. For example, if you come in and you have 5 pounds of potatoes, you can say what book can I get for 5 pounds of potatoes? And they'll be like, we have a used copy of Twilight. Actually, you're not going to get Twilight. You're probably going to get a New Moon or something,
Okay.
6 pounds of potatoes is going to get you Twilight.
Okay. It's a lot. That's a lot of potatoes.
You have to barter is what I'm saying. But I think it's pretty easy to grow potatoes, isn't it? Don't you just kind of cut a potato in half and leave it in the ground? That's what I was led to believe as a child.
That's what I was also led to believe as a child.
You put them in a tire or something. You know what I mean? Like an old tire to make a grow area. You put them in an old
tire. That's how things work.
I'm not making this up. People get tires and then fill those tires with dirt as a growing, as a little. Dan, don't look at me
the best place to grow things is inside an old tire.
The tire was just a boundary, so that it was making a little. God damn it, Dan!
Yeah, it's great. It's good. You know what? There's nothing wrong with that, people. What a perfect plan.
I'm just trying. I'm going to look this up after this, but I'm just saying, Dan, I'm just trying to help people grow potatoes and get books.
I get it. I think probably growing potatoes inside a tire is less good than it seems in your brain.
Dan, I'm telling you, it's a thing.
Okay. I mean, okay. Everyone knows the Irish potato famine was because they ran out of tires.
I'm just leaving. I'm going to leave.
All right. Anyway, that's at kickbezosintheballs.org. If you are on the internet and you're buying things, why not go on over to merch.sayswhopodcast.com where we have a whole bunch of Says Who merchandise. Or you can go to shop.dansinker.com, which is my own little shop where I sell 3 patches.
3 patch, Dan.
Just 3 patches.
Patch. One says trying.
3 patch.
One says Cooper Black.
One says
And
Cooper
one-
Black.
And what's the third one?
The third one says marginally employed.
Oh, marginally employed. That's right.
Which is sort of a lie right now, Maureen, because I'm sort of maximally employed right now.
You're a little bit overemployed, aren't you, Danny Fan? We'll get there. Dan, who's your Valentine?
Janice. And the little one and the teen. Those are my Valentines.
Okay.
I'm
my
a very
Valentine's...
simple person. How about you?
Oscar, Dexy, and Olive SaysWhovia.
Oh.
Isn't that nice?
That's so nice.
Man, look, my birthday and Valentine's Day have always been kind of conflated because like they're close together. And I have two
your
friends.
Birthday is so soon.
It's on Friday, yeah.
I just got a box in the mail for you yesterday. It's supposed to arrive on Thursday.
I'm not a big birthday person. I tend to forget when my birthday is. So people get really excited, and I'm always like, "Isn't my birthday?" Like, I guess. And they're like, "What'd you do for your birthday?" I'm like, "I don't know. Like, I had a sandwich." Like, I'm like, maybe today I'll get like an extra special sandwich, like a glitter sandwich or something. But
glitter sandwich.
I don't know. I don't have anything planned. I never do. And you know why? Every day's a little party for me. I'm always having a nice time. Isn't that nice?
That is nice.
You know what, Dan? 2024?
What?
No, pretty frictionless so far.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna argue that.
Hey, you know what? Nothing can go wrong now.
Oh no. You know what that part was?
That says who. Made myself cough. The podcast wasn't a podcast. It isn't a podcast.
It is a podcast.
Wait. Okay, I forgot the words.
It isn't a podcast.
Got it.
It's Schrodinger's podcast.
I'm Maureen Johnson.
And I am Dan Sinker. Maureen, you are not along the ocean anymore.
No, I'm not.
You are also not at home.
Yes, the last time you saw me, I was probably in a bathing suit.
You were poolside.
I was in my room, I think. But
that's true. But
I had a pool outside my room.
Yeah.
Like all I had to do was like open. And by the way, the whole wall opened. You could push the whole wall back. There was a deck with an outside lounger bed. And then you just like stepped directly into a pool with a hammock over it. Not there now, Dan. Not there now.
You're not there now. And yet you are also not back at home.
No, I'm in
I see the telltale signs of a whole bunch of little novelty houses balanced on windowsills.
Whole way around the room.
Tells me
whole way around the room.
You are at your folks' place.
My mother claims she's not a knickknack collector.
Visible evidence.
You have not seen the rest of this house, Dan. My mom is so knick-knacky that, for example, she has little ceramic cats all around, like on the floor.
Yeah, sure.
There's one little tiny one, a little tiny cat statue that I looked over at Christmas, and he's like crouching around one of the, like a little set of drawers.
Yeah.
And I looked down at Christmas, and that little cat statue was wearing a tiny Santa hat.
I feel like if you have more than like 4 ceramic figurines of any kind, you cannot say, I'm not a knickknack collector.
This house, I mean, I think if you remove the knickknacks, it might fall down. It's so decorated at all times.
Structural knickknacks.
I'm starting to think so.
Load-bearing load-bearing tchotchkes.
The house also, the decor changes per season. My mom has been doing that long before influencers. Like the little floral arrangements over the framed embroideries change seasonally.
Yeah.
So, everything is like seasonal.
Yeah. But the real news is that you are no longer in Mexico. You are no longer writing retreated / relaxed. and you decided that the best way to come back from a wonderful dreamlike moment in Mexico where you were in a boat alongside whales teaching their youngins how to swim was, instead of going home and continuing that relax, to go to your parents' house.
Well, I had to pick up the dog. She's down here.
Right.
So I had to come to get her. And then once I do that, because I pay for these rides back and forth and they're kind of complicated to set up, I just stayed to make my visit time because I come down a lot to help them because my parents need, I just help with stuff.
Right.
But we had a snowstorm down and I was supposed to call back today, but there was like, there's this giant snowstorm, biggest in 3 years. And I was like, well, I won't be able to get home. So I guess I'll just have to postpone it. And the next ride is on Thursday. And it is now sunny. It has stopped snowing. It's probably 50 degrees out, and all the snow that fell this morning has melted.
Oh, perfect.
So it's like just a nice day, and it would have been fine.
We had one of those snow days just a few weeks ago where they were like, the apocalypse is coming, be prepared. And then we got literally a quarter of an inch of snow. We
had 4 inches of snow on the ground this morning because it was pouring snow this morning.
Yeah.
There was 4 inches of accumulation. I played with Dexy 4 times already out in the snow.
Yeah.
And I'm looking out in the yard now and it's gone.
Yeah.
That's wild to have this morning to be a complete whiteout that you can't see in. And then all the snow falls. Like I could not see. It was snowing so hard and now it is gone.
That is wild.
It's a weird day. So yes, my ride would have been absolutely fine because there's nothing.
But now you're there for a couple more. You get back home just in time to celebrate your birthday.
Help me. Help me, you guys, help me.
It's going well. It's going well.
It is going well, Dan, but I have been away from home for a while. And, I'm here to help out my family, but, families can be a lot.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of hooking up of things, Dan.
Yeah.
I've hooked up like new television headphones and I'm fixing email accounts and I'm moving the furniture and I'm straightening the rugs and I'm moving the boxes. I'm doing all this stuff. But Dan, it's not what you came here to hear about. You came to hear about this.
Oh, did I? What are you? She's reaching over. Oh, I think, is this a new planner?
Dan, this one's different.
Oh, no.
This one's different, Dan. You know why?
How?
This is the one I wanted all along.
Okay, so I want to describe this front before you open it up. This is a very, it is wider than it is tall.
It's big.
So imagine it's quite big. Like that, it feels like that's larger than 8.5 by 11 turned on its side.
Yeah, it's big, yeah.
And then it is ring bound on one side. The whole thing appears to be either like a very dark olive or perhaps a matte black. It's hard to tell.
It's like a foresty green.
Yeah.
It's a foresty green.
And then there's just sort of very minimalist in the center, a little rectangular lockup that says something that I can't read.
It's the name of the
This looks like a very like very archival level.
Yeah.
Level.
It's very
planner.
straightforward.
Yeah.
There's no.
This isn't one that you're gonna act like. You call it a planner, but really it's a fun time sticker book. That shit looks like you're getting work done.
Yeah, this looks like I have the records from 1897 in it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it looks like you're keeping the books for like a railroad.
Thank you. This is why it's good, Dan.
Okay.
Open it up.
She's opened
calendar.
it.
So you get a monthly calendar.
Okay.
And then there's these half pages.
That's very hard for me to see on the webcam, but I believe you.
There. See? Calendar?
I mean, not really, but yes.
And you get these little half pages. So like you always see the month, and then the half pages tell you what you have to do during the week, but you can always check the month.
Okay.
And then there's like monthly note, like just generalized shit you have to do over here for the month.
Yeah.
So you can always see the whole month as you're working on your week.
Well,
that's all I wanted. I like it.
Okay.
I just wanted to be able to see the whole month.
Well,
That's
perfect.
great. It's very,
How
very
else could a
straightforward.
person have possibly seen the whole month? So perfect. I'm glad somebody finally came up with a way of depicting a month in one view. Whew.
And
Finally.
it's very straightforward. I could put
All
the
right.
month stuff and then just make a little list.
Yeah, perfect. I'm
I
excited.
like it.
I'm happy for you. I'm thrilled for you.
Now, I will say that this is a very nice, straightforward, well-designed planner. I've watched the videos of the woman who makes it. Her name's on the front. She seems like a lot of work.
Okay.
There's some heavy lifting involved.
Yeah.
She has a character she's made for herself called Planner Patty.
Oh, no.
She does a lot of character videos.
Oh, boy.
It's work.
Yeah.
I was like, woof. But it's a good planner. It doesn't have any faff in it. It's just like, here's your planner. You can see your month. You can write your shit down.
Fat free.
Now, I will say that the good grift is that she's also made sheets of tiny sticky notes designed for all the sizes of the squares so that you can like mark. And I was like, that's a good grift.
Yeah.
Because they're super.
How many of those have you ordered?
None, because they're all out of stock.
Oh.
But what I did then was a pair of scissors and I just cut some little Post-its.
Look at that.
So that was that was free. That was $0. That was me using some old Post-its.
You've got it all taken care of now.
I was so excited, Dan. I will tell you, I followed the delivery on FedEx.
Yeah.
And then I was like, ooh, if I take my shower now, I know it'll be outside when I get it.
Did you have it delivered to your folks' place?
Yes.
Nice.
And that's part of the reason I couldn't leave on Monday.
Oh, boy. It's like you took yourself hostage.
It is exactly like I took myself hostage. I took myself hostage. Like, and I can't get out.
Yeah,
like
now
trapped,
you're stuck.
Man.
There was one time years and years and years and years ago, where we were staying at Janice's folks' place, and a big snowstorm came through, and like Colorado, they don't really know how to shovel or clear snow. They have adopted the sort of opinion that, well, the sun will come out soon and it will melt away the snow, and usually that works, but not when there's a huge snow. So we ended up getting stuck for days. And it's not like we were like up a mountain or something. Like we were in Boulder, Colorado, but the highways and shit like that, they were impassable for a long time. So I know the feeling of being stuck.
Yeah, and now I'm stuck and it's sunny.
It has been we have had multiple days in a row of sun after going, I think, a month and a half without the sun coming out, which was deadly. And I was remarking as we were walking the little one to school today, I was like, I feel like I'm starting to take this for granted, because last week it also was like warm and sunny. But I have a thing now, Maureen, called a job. I know. I work mornings for a news organization here in the Chicago area. And it's fun and it's great. But I am used to having more flexibility, not because, as anyone who has listened knows, not because I didn't have work, but because I could kind of set my own hours in a way that allowed for some flexibility. For instance, if it was warm and sunny in the morning, I could go out and see that warm sun. But last week, we had these 2 days that were like touching 60, which in February in Chicago, you'd take advantage of that shit. But both days when I stepped outside after my shift, it immediately clouded up. And I felt like I'm never going to see this goddamn sun. But then all weekend, it's been much cooler, but sunny. And now, still, here we are, midweek, still sunny. Feels great.
Yep. Sunny. It's beautiful sunny right now. It's melting all that snow that fell. Truly, Dan, I had snow blindness this morning. It was so, at first it was just, my hair has been drenched several times from like just covered in snow. There was snow on Dexy's leash. There was so much snow. Like I came out and I shook the snow off her leash. Now it's nothing. It's like a spring day outside. It's weird. But Dan, I feel like Mexico, when I go, we tend to take our vacation. We go away for a week in the winter.
Yeah.
And I genuinely believe that I carry that, like that it changes everything for me.
Mm-hmm.
I feel better the whole rest of the winter. I'm fine. Like it absolutely changes the game.
Well, that's
like
great.
I get all the vitamin D 1 week.
Yeah.
In like January, February. And I like February. It's very pink. I think it is the pink month, the pink silvery skies, It's nice. That spring's coming where everything's stretching. Days are getting a little bit longer all the time. Let's do the sunset tracker again. And then we're going to get to the news now. I just wanted to check the sunset tracker. Let's see here.
Okay. All right.
I have a sunset tracker on my phone.
Nice.
Oh, all right. Nice. 5:32 p.m. And by
That's
this
late.
Whoa. By this time next month, 7:04 p.m.
It's all happening.
When is spring forward? Early March? I usually know this.
When is spring forward? 2024. It is Sunday, March 10th.
Ding itty dong. So by this time.
That's less than a month. That's less than a month.
I can do the 5:30. Okay.
Yeah.
By 7 o'clock, nice.
Yeah.
I'm digging that.
I have noticed that it is light out later for sure, and that is nice.
Yeah. It's those longer
the
days.
Clouds finally part has really changed a lot in my own brain, I feel like.
But Dan, how is your own brain?
Today has been a lot. So like I said, I have a job, right? I mean, it's sort of a job, right? But it has compressed my time. I picked this thing up without putting anything down. So it has compressed my time in a way that is challenging. And Tuesdays, because it's our kind of historic recording day, and I have a few other things that typically fall on Tuesdays. I don't work the job on Tuesdays. So that meant this morning especially, I had to do a bunch of things. So I've mentioned before that I'm producing a podcast that our friend Akilah Hughes is doing, and we are getting very close. In fact, we have a release date, which is in June, which is very exciting. But we are submitting episode 1 to a festival, which means episode 1 has to be done. Which means it has to be done next week. And everything's done. It just, we need to tweak it all. So, and Akilah's recording in like an hour. And so I had to do a whole bunch of kind of like notes and rewritings and things like that this morning. On top of that, the town of Ohio, this will be out. Let me just, in my brain, make sure I'm not spoiling anything. No, because we're releasing it this afternoon. And this episode comes out tomorrow. We are releasing the single biggest website that we have built for this whole thing, which is the newspaper, where we have 150 articles that date back 90 years. Basically, the whole story of the town as told through newspaper articles. That is also launching today. So there's been a lot of finalizing bits and pieces for that. I'm very proud of that site.
This is amazing, Dan.
Sentinel.com. Go check it out, folks. And then we're doing this. It's just today, like, there was just a moment this morning where I was like, I might die right now. But I would die from thinking too much. But anyway, that's me. It's all fine. It's all great. This picking up a job, it's not really a job. Feels like a job. That is largely due to the fact of last year's massive amount of debt that we went into when everything started breaking over and over and over again. And it will help pay off that debt. So that is worth it. But yeah, right now I do feel like my brain is on fire.
Well,
A smarter
Dan.
person would probably put things down, but I don't. I just heap them on.
Right.
3 of my things that I'm doing all have major deadlines next week, which is great. Anyway, I'm excited about a lot of these things, though. This podcast from Akila Maureen, it's gonna fucking light the world on fire.
It does feel like it.
I am so goddamn excited about it.
Right.
Oh, but it's so good.
Dan, as we said before, we are now almost halfway through February of 2024.
Yep.
Overall,
yep.
Aside from the global catastrophe happening with, sorry, I just saw a foot appear in the air. It was Dexy's foot.
Excuse me?
Yeah, Dexy's foot, not just like.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
She was. I forgot she was in the room with me, and she was laying down, and just over the surface of the table, she just stretched up a leg, and like a foot appeared in the air. And
yeah, now I understand the
she's flopped out because she's played in the snow all morning. We are in the election year now, Dan.
Mm-hmm. Oh, very much so.
We're very much in the shoot, and yet it feels like we're not on the, like we're in we're in line for the ride. But we've gotten to that part where you're no longer standing outside, you're standing inside the part that they've, the cool part of the ride, the indoor part with the stuff on the wall.
Queue, as they would say in the business.
Yeah. And you're out of the sun.
Yep.
So it's not hot anymore, and you're in the kind of cool, but now you're in the mood because there's noises and there's cool stuff you're looking at, and you're like, wow, I'm about to get on the ride.
Yeah.
I'm in the zone.
Right.
That's what it feels like we're in, and we're finding it surprisingly entertaining, and maybe, we're like, wow, we're about to get on this ride.
I mean, I feel like, so when we went to Walt Disney World last year, there was, the weather was mostly beautiful, but there was one day that, it was quite rainy, and it was rainy in that kind of Floridian way where like a monsoon will blow through for 5 minutes. Right. And we were on our way to get into the line for the Little Mermaid, which is, totally charming little ride around in a clamshell type ride. And usually quite quick to be in the line. And it was kind of drizzly at the moment. And we were like, well, it'll be handy because, most of the themed queue is indoors. And everyone in the whole park had the same idea because it was very clear that there was a real rain coming. And so the posted wait time was like 15 minutes, or 20 minutes, which honestly is like the outside window for that ride, right? Like 20 minutes for that ride. That's that's more than the ride is worth. But we got in the line. First of all, absolutely the clouds fucking opened while we were still outside. Right. But then we get into the inside. And at that point, you can't really turn around easily. And it's still saying 20 minutes, but it is very clear that this is not a 20-minute wait. And Maureen, we ended up in that interior queue. And that's really what this is coming to. Because I think you're correct. We're in the themed queue part of this election ride now. Right. Mm-hmm. But it is now dawning on us the way it dawned on us when we were in this line. Oh, this wait is a lot longer than the posted wait time, because I feel like, yes, we're in the themed queue of this ride, but this shit isn't until November. We ended up in the line for the Little Mermaid for over an hour, which is way too fucking long for that ride. But and that's kind of, I feel like, the same thing with this ride that we're currently on. It's like, oh, cool, we're in the queue, we're almost on the ride. We are not almost on the ride, Maureen. There's a lot still to go in this line.
What does it look like inside of this place that we're in? Like, what kind of structure are we in?
I think that this is a very large, very elaborate haunted mansion that we are in.
Oh, what kind of house? White House?
I think it's a haunted White House, right?
Okay, it's the haunted White House.
One time, where were we? I think that there was one time Janice and I were on a road trip through Missouri. and we drove through Branson, Missouri. Are you at all familiar with Branson, Missouri?
I know what happens in Branson.
Right. So Branson, for those of you that don't know, and a lot of people don't know, Branson is like sort of like Las Vegas if it didn't have any gambling, and was built around the Ozarks, right? Like a swamp, essentially. But a swamp that a lot of people wanted to go to. And then at some point, someone was like, well, if we build weird shit, then people are really going to show up here. This was a long time ago that we went there. I'm not sure that this still exists, but for instance, so now there are a lot of like entertainers that basically just perform in Branson or have their own like themed spots in Branson. It is also for Midwesterners, it is very similar to the Wisconsin Dells, which is another place that there was this natural beauty that then someone was like, what if we built weird shit here? And then more people would come. But when we went through, and again, this was a long time ago, the Russian Cold War comic Yakov Smirnoff had his own theater. That's the kind of place that Branson, Missouri is. It's a place that Yakov Smirnoff could have his own theater.
I really wasn't expecting that.
For those of you not listening or that are unfamiliar, he was a comic. I think now he's sort of a right-wing douchebag is my gut. I think he's probably like a Trump dude
is he?
now. But his whole thing was he did like, Russians do this, Americans do that. What a country kind of comedy back in the 80s.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of like, what a country.
Yeah. But yeah, his theater had his face huge on the roof. Anyway, this was a very long explanation to the point that to explain that it was when we were driving through Branson, or maybe now that I've gotten through this whole story, it was when we were driving through the Wisconsin Dells. One of those two places where they had a White House haunted house, but it was like an alien invasion White House. And the whole White House had been built upside down. So it looked like it had been lifted and then dropped. It was like upside down and kind of cracked and sideways. Yeah. We didn't stop. We used to do road trips when we were as broke could be. So there wasn't a lot of stopping. You just go through places and be like, well, that would be cool if we had any money at all.
Oh, Dan, what?
So I'm kind of imagining it like that. This kind of upside down, cracked White House. And you're in this very long line leading up to it.
We're in we've come out of the Rose Garden, but we're now in the lobby area or something.
Yeah, totally.
We're walking through all those offices in the East Wing or something where all the, that are all moldy and, everybody's a little Warren. Dan, when do you think this year will turn on us?
His face. To think.
He just went to a different place. He really was like,
really thinking about that. Made me sad. Yeah. Made me realize that this year, which again, personally / professionally, has been remarkably decent for me. Yeah, I think it's coming soon.
When's it?
I think that we are essentially on the precipice of the general election here in February. There's for some reason, there's still that some reason is, I guess, the Constitution, right? But primaries are still happening, but really, this is the most pantomime shit on earth. And I think we're just getting ready for these two old dudes to just start slugging at each other all the time.
Yeah, one of the when I was flying home on what day did I fly home on? Thursday. We flew home JetBlue, which gives you free Wi-Fi and television. JetBlue's great. Yeah. There's a big bag. There's a wall of snacks in the back. Both of my flights almost empty. First flight down to Mexico, I made friends with the flight crew and I hung out in the back with them talking books and drinking coffee.
Yeah.
It's like we're all friends now. This flight was like pretty much empty again, and I had Wi-Fi, so I'm like looking and I'm like, it was the day that they released a special report then about Biden's memory.
Well, technically, the special report was not about Biden's memory.
No, but that's what it turned into.
Yeah. Technically, it was the end of the special counsel's investigation into Biden's handling of top secret documents, because you'll remember after the raid on Mar-a-Lago, suddenly it felt like everyone had top secret documents in their homes of one kind or another, including Joe Biden, where his team sort of went to the Justice Department. We're like, look, we just did a review of the documents. We found some. Here you go. And then the Justice Department, because this is how shit has to go, had to name a special counsel to investigate his handling, because they had a special counsel investigating Trump's handling. Now, did they need to do that? That's open for debate. But that's what they did. Special counsels have free reign to do whatever they want. They do not get told what to do by Merrick Garland or anyone else in the Justice Department. They have a separate budget. They can do whatever they want. In terms of special counsel investigations that went far afield and ended up in a very different place than was expected, would be Kenneth Starr investigating Bill Clinton's real estate transactions and ending up writing a report about Monica Lewinsky, right? That's sort of how you can go. So this, absolving Joe Biden of any guilt in handling the documents, right?
Right.
They said very specifically that there was not enough evidence to prosecute him. There would not be enough evidence to rise to above a reasonable doubt that he just had these documents, realized it, turned them in, right? And again, I think it's worth, before we get into the meat of this thing, to remember again, the Biden team voluntarily disclosed that they had these documents. They gave them back. This is in stark contrast to the game of whack-a-mole that Trump and his goons played with federal investigators for months before finally a raid got the documents back, right? These are not the same thing, despite the fact that they sort of feel like they're the same thing. They are very, very much not the same thing. And again, this special counsel decided there really isn't much to this Trump thing. But he wrote a 375-page report, or somewhere like that. It was very, very big. And went to great lengths, this is special counsel Robert K. Hur, to describe Joe Biden as a doddering old man whose memory is so far gone that he can't remember the basics, let alone the major things. He described Biden's memory as, quote, significantly limited, that he had, quote, limited precision and recall. He said part of the reason why he didn't even want to attempt to prosecute, not only because there really wasn't a crime to prosecute, but because, quote, at trial, Mr. Biden would likely present himself to a jury, as he did during our interview of him, as a sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory. According to Hur's report, boy.
Shut up for a second.
Boy.
I need to talk to you guys.
Yeah, hi, Amy Carter's shoe.
Hi there. I'm real mad.
Yeah?
They're talking shit about my man.
He is talking shit about your man.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
You tell me where this guy is. I'm going to find him.
He's just in Washington, D.C.
I'm going to go get
this. Works for the Justice Department.
You mess with my man. You mess with the Biden, you get the shoe. You know what I mean? The shoe's coming for you.
Yeah.
The shoe's coming. And this shoe can go right up an ass. You know what I'm saying? Cannon has. My man remembers. You know what I mean? My man's got a long memory. Long memory. You know what I'm saying, Dan? It's making a dog bark. That's how long it is. That's right. That's right. 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 Yeah. Singing songs. My man, he makes the dogs bark. You know what I mean? This dog's barking. Yeah, that dog's barking. Shut up about him. You shut up.
Oh, no.
You shut up. My man. My man. No, my man. You want to talk about my man? No, shut up. This is not about your man at all. No one wants to hear about Bernie, especially not the dog. You shut up. You shut up, my man. You shut up. Everybody shut up about my man. He can... All right. What if I start talking again? Yep. Hey. My mom came in. Oh, the door's open. The door's open. Oh. Shut the door. You guys, my mom came in.
You should have just been like, Mom, I'm on the phone.
Mom, I'm doing a podcast. Shut up, Mom.
Hang up.
Dan, I am a full ass adult. Forget it. I'm getting a drink.
Oh no, she got up. She left.
Going in here. Coming back. I got a fridge in this room.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, there's a fridge and a freezer, Dan. And Dan, because I was stuck here, I looked in the freezer because I got an extra fridge and freezer in here because because they're old people and they got a fridge.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'll just cook some of this meat because we were out of food for her. And I was like, I got to make her something. I'm like, there's a lot of leftover stuff in there. I'll find some chicken or something and I'll boil it for her. And I went and had a look and I was examining it. And I was like, this frozen ground beef is from 21.
Oof.
I was like, who's cleaned this out? So I think that there's a lot of pandemic meat in there.
Oof.
So one of the things I'm going to do probably today is just like get a bag and go through their freezer and be like, okay,
clear out that
all this pandemic meat is going.
Yeah.
Your weird pandemic meats. I'm cleaning out your freezer. I am a religious fridge cleaner outer, Dan.
Yeah.
It's like my fridge is like a professional kitchen. I'm like, old stuff to the front, newer stuff to the back. Let's go. Everything in labeled containers. I don't fuck with an unorganized fridge. Anyway, we were talking about my man. Shut up about your man. Go on, please. Anyway, I was on a plane when this was happening, and I was watching these reports.
Yeah.
Just continue, Dan. I didn't mean to interrupt.
That's fine. It's fine.
Listen, it wasn't
According
me.
According to Hers report, Biden had trouble recalling the years he served as vice president, which, I mean, to be fair, who remembers anything before 2020 at this point?
Nobody.
It's all just a blur. He could not pinpoint, according to the report. This is the one that I find the hardest to actually believe. He could not pinpoint, even within several years, when his son Beau had died. And it also, according to the report, his memory about a crucial debate on troop levels in Afghanistan was hazy. Following the release of this report, as you might expect, Maureen, it was immediately seized upon by the Trump campaign, by Fox News, by every single person's angry drunk uncle, and every other Republican too. Following up on that, Joe Biden held a press conference that night where he was allowed to be mad as hell. Really, a lot of swearing. I mean, like saying damn and hell. But that's something. Let off the leash a little bit. Vehemently denied the accusations. Essentially, his thing was like, how the hell would I be doing what I'm doing if I was as doddering as is depicted here?
Yes.
But, Maureen, here we are now.
Yep.
At the start, essentially, of the general election in February, where it's once again Joe Biden v. Donald Trump. And somehow we're having to look at headlines like, is Biden's memory more of a liability than Trump's indictments? Honestly, Maureen, fucking kill me. Just end it for me, please.
Dan, it's February.
Also, this is not to say, like, the wildest part about all of this is that Donald Trump is fucking nuts.
Yeah.
That man cannot string a single sentence together anymore.
No, Donald Trump is, he's been in decline for some time.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, for example, a couple of days ago, he said, let Russia do what they want.
Yeah.
Let Russia invade any country they want.
Yeah, sure.
He's so far off the rails that we're not in the same county as the rails anymore. Like, we're in a cartoon.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we're in some sort of, like, Roadrunner situation.
We're in that Roadrunner thing where you go off the cliff and you just keep going straight.
Yeah.
But those rails have been a long time gone. And eventually someone's going to look down, and we know what happens when you look down in a Roadrunner cartoon.
When your policy is, the first day I'm having, you see the movie The Purge? That's going to be my first day.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no platform. I don't know what we're voting for.
Mm-hmm.
There's just one guy who's like, this.
Yeah.
What we have right now. Or another guy who is, it's like meth, the person. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's just like, first I'm going to have a purge. I'm going to let Russia do whatever they want. I'm going to get a law passed that I can kill anybody. There's no like policy. There never was. Like, he was president for 4 years. Remember that? Like, nothing happened. He just signed weird stuff all the time. Every single day, it was like our brains were diminished.
Yeah.
Life always came at you fast.
Yeah.
But things are now at a speed that no one can withstand. So
we have taken to watching a television program called Lego Masters over in our house, which is like it is actually originally a British reality show. It's like the Great British Bake Off for people that build shit out of Lego, right? Which the little one is, I mean, it's basically amazing. Will Arnett is the host of it. A very charming, very fun show. And they do shit like, for instance, the season we just finished watching, the challenge was these teams had to build windmills that they then blew a fan at 60 miles an hour, right? And these Lego windmills had to withstand, the winning ones had to withstand 50, 60 mile an hour winds. And I feel like that's us right now. Like we're this tottering Lego tower that is being wheeled into position in front of a giant fan that is going to blow at 60 miles an hour at us.
Yeah, that sounds about right. When did you decide that the year was going to turn on us?
I didn't.
That's when you went blank.
Yeah, that's when I went blank because I want this moment. Again, I want to couch this by saying personally and professionally. Because there's a lot of this moment that is fucking shit ass, let's face it. But I would like to just ride this moment out a little longer, but I think we're not riding this moment
this
out
American moment. So,
yes.
Certainly like we said, there's a major international crisis going on, a humanitarian crisis of absolutely ungodly proportions going on right now. So it's not like everything's wonderful. We're talking simply about the United States teetering on
not being in an election cycle.
Possibly the weirdest election we're going to ever have.
Yeah.
Trump
and that's
one
saying
was
a lot
weird.
because you know what we've had a lot of lately? Weird fucking elections.
Yeah, I mean, Trump one was weird. And then it was the surprise, like, gut punch.
Yeah.
Trump 2 was just in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah.
And Trump 3, he's going to kill everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's got 4 criminal charges against him and is trying. I mean, and then what? Again, we have the first criminal trial coming up next month.
Yep. In theory, yeah. The New York Stormy Daniels one. That
I'm
would be the
losing
end of
track
March.
of everything, Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah, Stormy
That's
Daniels
because everything
won.
else is now on hold. That's the only one that still has a firm date.
Are they all on hold?
Mm-hmm. Well, Georgia, we still have never gotten a date for. So, but the other 2 are currently on hold, the Mar-a-Lago documents and the January 6th one. January 6th one is awaiting now the Supreme Court. Trump's folks just appealed to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court has to decide whether they want to kind of issue some sort of summary judgment that would perhaps release the hold that currently exists on the case and allow it to move forward. Or are they going to say, no, let's keep this stay in place until we can hear these arguments?
What's the Supreme Court hold on that one? Because that's not the presidential part. Like the presidentials can do anything. One, is it?
It is. This is that.
That is
this is that
one.
Yeah,
right.
This is that one. They are also hearing they just heard the can Trump be thrown off
right
the ballots, but no, this is a president has immunity forever for anything argument that has been thrown out so far by 2 judges, or 1 judge and a panel of judges, and now it's up to the Supreme Court to whether or not they want to hear that or not.
You think they're going to hear it?
I mean, the part of me that enjoys logic would say no, because they basically already decided this once, because they've had this Trump presidential immunity argument has been made by Trump before, and they decided that one already. So the part of me that wants to say their easiest way of not getting into the shit on this is to just say, no, we're not going to hear this. We already we already ruled on this, throw it back to the appeals level. But I think they'll probably hear it. I don't think they'll find in his favor, but
no, it's because it's insane.
But I think because it's insane. And I think that even the most staunch conservatives on that court know it's insane. Well, maybe not the most staunch, but enough of them.
When do you think when would you think March for that, maybe, or April?
For that trial to move forward, or for the Supreme Court to hear it, or whatever?
For the Supreme Court to hear it.
That one I'm not sure. There's sort of seems to be multiple states of mind on this. Like this Supreme Court was installed in part to carry water for Donald Trump argument would say that even if they find that it isn't a valid argument, which is almost certainly they will find, they can do him a big favor by just delaying this for a long time by putting it on their real schedule, which would mean they wouldn't even hear it until I think the summer at the earliest, and then wouldn't issue a decision on it until the fall. So, but yeah, I don't know that anyone knows. So, anyway, to answer your question, it's all coming crashing down real soon, I think.
What you want to say? I'm going to go like April 8th.
Okay.
I don't know why. Just like kind of early-ish April. The first truly weird thing will happen.
Okay.
The first twist of the knife.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
All right. Okay.
Because I think that's what good. It will, the weird first criminal charges thing will, we'll start to have some word, and just something will, with the one of the 2 of them will come up. Like just something truly one of them sprouts wings or something.
Now that would truly be unexpected.
What about the summer, Dan? What do you think of how we're going to feel by summer? What kind of spicy summer are we going to have, Dan?
I mean, the summer will be the party convention, so that should be a blast.
Right, it's going to be fun.
That's late summer, but still.
What cities are they in?
Republicans are in Milwaukee. And no, they were in Milwaukee last time. Hold on. Let me look.
Which lucky cities? I remember when the Republicans came to New York and every single one of us took as our absolute
No, they are in Milwaukee.
To say, when one came up to us on the street and asked for directions, to absolutely send them in the wrong direction. That was our job. I did it. Yeah. I'm not going to lie, Dan. I did that.
The Republicans
how do I
Milwaukee.
Get there?
I think I confused it because I believe the Democrats were in Milwaukee last time. But Republicans are Milwaukee. Democrats, Maureen Johnson, Chicago.
Hey, ding dong.
It's all happening.
The Chicago Democratic Convention's famously good history.
I was in or just out of college. Must have been the 96 Democratic Convention. So I was just out of college. Was also in Chicago, the Democratic one. A friend of mine who went on just this last year to win a MacArthur Genius Grant, an artist, he made a mockumentary about the Democratic National Convention and other things. But, and I was one of the people in it. We were a group called Male Exotic Dancers in Coalition Against Right-Wing Extremism, otherwise known as Medicare.
Little shout out also to my favorite podcast, The Dollop, because they just did a 2-parter on Anita Bryant.
Yeah.
And
you're really zigging where I was zagging. All right, let's go.
Because what you just said made me think of it, male exotic.
Yeah.
Because Anita Bryant, if you don't know, is a very famous evil figure from the 70s who was like a kind of Republican singer. Like she just was like she was like real squeaky. Yeah. And she was the spokesperson for orange juice. But she decided that gay people were the worst thing in the world and made it her whole life. One of those things where people get on a bandwagon and then because they get pushed back and people are like, hey, you're evil. They make it their entire thing.
Yeah.
And she's the worst. And this 2-parter is actually pretty satisfying because I'm like, this is going to be a bummer. But it turns out that she truly gets what she deserves.
Wow.
And it does. And it features Branson, Missouri as part of the story. It's, she truly gets exactly what she deserves. And it's pretty good. In that she loses her career and ends up playing in like mobile home parks 2 a night. Like she's just truly, she gets what's appropriate.
I like stories that end like that are real.
Oh, this one's very satisfying. Like part 2 is an absolute delight beginning to end. But what's interesting about it, and that what you just said made me think about it because you're like male exotic dancers against
in coalition against right-wing extremism.
Basically, it talks about how that sparked off the modern queer rights movements.
Yeah.
Like it really helped spark everything because it really brought the word gay into like the vernacular. Like people were like, gay. Okay, let's talk about that. But you get to see the TERF playbook, the anti-trans playbook, beat for beat, because those song sheets never change.
It's true.
They use the same ones every time, note for note. Every time. Every fucking time. And when you get challenged, they double down, and that's how you get J.K. Rowling. Ding dong, ding ding ding. So yes, it's all very interesting and worth listening to. It's called The Dollop. I love it. It's one of my favorites. They have one on Elon Musk. They have one on Donald Trump. But the Anita Bryant one, it's pretty goddamn satisfying. And if you're interested in how people get into turfism and stuff like that, I think it's a pretty good example. That's just a positive thing. But Dan, yeah, we're in the holding period for this year, American politics wise.
It's true.
Yeah, I feel like, Dan, it's very, very important for us to really nail down. In fact, Dan, hello and welcome to Maureen's Mindfulness Moments.
There it is.
At the end of the episode, I give you something to meditate on. Now, Dan, as you know, I got a new planner. I'm making plans. You know what they say, people make plans, God laughs at you. So, Dan, we should plan to go to Disney World because give yourself a beautiful thing to look at. Put something in your calendar, big or small, that you say, hey, maybe that like on that day I'm gonna have the spaghetti or whatever, like whatever you want. Like you're gonna have something nice.
Okay.
I say we book it, Dan. We book this thing. We say no matter what, we're going to the Disney World. We're gonna have the Dole Whip. We're all gonna be together. We're gonna have a nice time. I think it's important to give yourself something nice because this year may take. It may take from you. It may pick your pockets. It's like the opposite of that thing where at my church when I used to go to kid, you paid it was the clown pockets. You paid 5 cents to pick something from the top pockets, but it was like a quarter to pick from with the down low pockets. And again, the more I think about that, the weirder it gets. But it was the thing. It was the clown pockets, Dan. You're telling me you never heard about clown pockets where you get to pick...
you've told us the story of Pockets the Clown a few different times.
Haven't you ever encountered it in your own life?
Never.
Really? I thought this was a thing.
No, this was just your own
Up
little
here,
thing.
these are the 5-cent pockets.
Yeah.
These are the dimes. Down here is the quarter. You know what I mean? Down here you get like a top or something. I don't know. I don't even know what you got to get. Like a paper clip or something. I don't even remember what was in the 5-cent pocket.
Yeah.
But it was a thing that we all did. Sometimes... Dan, sometimes you're going to get the 5-cent pocket. Sometimes you're going to get the quarter pocket. But Dan, I'm just saying, put a nice thing in your calendar. Give yourself a little something because it's coming for us, Dan.
Mm-hmm.
It is guaranteed it is coming for us. And everybody, you just know that everybody's going to get more nuts. Everybody's going to get more spicy. And that election, that's not going to be that day. That's going to be like a whole thing. So it's going to go into Christmas. It's going to go into December. It's going to go into all those holidays. It's going to cause a lot of bullshit. So probably let's already plan to get really into crafting. I'm just saying, take your planner, flip it a few months, and give yourself the spaghetti or the $5 clown pocket or whatever special thing you need to make yourself feel good. Do it in advance. That way, when you flip the calendar, you say, I gave myself spaghetti in a clown pocket. Give yourself the quarter clown pocket. You deserve it. It's 2024. I don't know how many more of these we're going to get. This has been your mindfulness moment of the week. My name is Maureen. I also sell vertical blinds. If you're interested in those, at the best rates you're going to get anywhere. I love you. God bless. Namaste.
Wow.
I think I'm getting better at my voice, at the soothingness.
It's very soothing.
Yeah.
It's very soothing, especially who doesn't like a real soothing mindfulness moment that centers around spaghettis.
You get spaghettis.
You talking about the spaghettis reminded me that I wanted to give a little shout out to the New York Times about a few weeks ago published 100+ sheet pan dinner recipes. And Maureen Johnson, that shit has changed our dinners. They're so good and easy, delicious, worth checking out. That's my plug of the week.
You know what I'm gonna do? I've decided to do, Dan. I'm gonna make a shit ton of vegan sushi. I've got my little roller sheet, but I had some the other day. It was delicious. I'm like, I'm gonna start making more of this shit. It's good.
All right.
You can make jackfruit, spicy crab, and avocado, and put a little all delicious little spicy sriracha mayo in there. Sure, like it's all vegan. It's tasty. It's not that hard.
I like a sriracha mayo.
Oh yeah, it's not that hard to make. So I'm gonna do that.
Well,
We're gonna take care of ourselves. It's 2024.
That's all we can do.
Oh boy, someone's awake. Someone loves this. The snow's gone already, baby.
Well,
Yes,
the good
no
news
melted.
is you can take her out soon because Says Who is made possible by you through your support of our Patreon at patreon.com/SaysWho, our Patreon, where if you give it the $5 or $10 a month level, you get this all over again most Sundays. And that $10 a month level gets you a sticker in the mail because you become a member of the Says Who Sticker Club. Our theme music is performed by Ted Leo. Our logo was designed by Darth. You can contact us at Says Who Podcast on Twitter. No, you can contact us at Says Who Podcast on Threads. At SaysWho at omfg.town on Mastodon. You can email at hey, that is HEY at SaysWhoPodcast.com. You can join the discussion on Facebook at /group/SaysWhovians. Our Facebook group is moderated by Janice Dillard. If you want to join the fan-run Discord server, you can do that over at tinyurl.com/SaysWhoDiscord. Whatever you do, spread the word, subscribe, please leave stars and reviews on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever it is that you listen. And you can join us next Wednesday, the 21st of February, for our very next episode. From my basement in Chicago, I'm Dan Sinker.
And I will be back in the saddle in New York City, baby. Best city on earth. No notes. No notes. No flaws. What was it we got a notice about? Oh, we got a notice. They're like, okay, someone's been throwing something out the windows. Stop throwing shit out the windows. I don't know who our new dirtbag neighbor is, but somebody is throwing stuff out windows. That's a new one. Also, I had electrical work done while I was gone. I was like, please fix this. Please fix this plug. And I came home to a note that was like, we have finished the work in your apartment. And he wrote in block letters across it, just wiggle it when you plug something in. So that seems
perfect.
Fine.
You're good.
From Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where my dog is barking. Shush. Hi. I'm Maureen Johnson. This is Dexy Johnson.
And this has been Says Who.
Whoa.